G'day guys, how you going? Gonna do my top 10 eye-catching stage moments of the Eurovision 2025 song contest. So this is just after my first watch, and there's sort of the moments where I think after the competition they still were in my head as like, oh yeah, that was quite iconic. So anyway, I've just chosen like a selection of 10 of them. There's probably a few more that I'll pick up upon second and third watch of the contest. But yeah, these are just the 10 that sort of immediately came to mind, and I'll start us off with Lucio Corsi, and I think it's Tomasi, I'm not sure, his little friend on stage. They were beautiful as a combination, but I just remember this moment when they were singing, and Lucio here and Thomas, they had this moment towards the end where I think he passes him something. I'm not quite sure what it is. Is it a microphone? Is it the harmonica? I'm not sure, but he passes it to him, and Tomasi gives him like it just feels really kind of organic and just natural and nice. Like it's just such a subtle sort of thing, but it just was so impactful for me, and it just really stayed with me. Like that was just, we've got all the bells and whistles of some of the other performances, and these two just do this really simple, sort of authentic, genuine relationship exchange, and it's just nice. And yeah, that was for me. And they're both sitting there with the big guitars and the hair, and I think I've said on previous videos how jealous I am of the hair of the other guy. But yeah, this was just really nice and wholesome, just the way that these two sort of just get along. They seem like very humble people as well, so that was really nice. So that was number one that sort of came out to me. These are in no order, by the way. I'm just sort of spitting these out as I remembered them. The second moment was from Poland, and definitely the Dragon. So this was an amazing piece of production. The way the Dragon was in the background with Justina hanging in the air. There's this beautiful background vocal going on at the same time during the bridge. And this dragon's just flying in the back, and we see her in the clouds, and the dragon then comes through the stage, and you can see it not swimming, but it's flying through the stage LCD on the floor as well. And it was just, oh yeah. I don't know what it would have looked like if you were there in concert, but on TV, that looked amazing, and I think most people around Australia were watching going, oh, that's just like Game of Thrones, that's so good. She's like Khaleesi, but yeah, that moment really stood out. That was just so well done, and it went so well with the song. So I'm going to do a video on Poland later too, because I really think they were underrated at this competition. The third moment that stood out from memory was Erika Vikman. Now, her performance stole the show in the semi-final, definitely, and she was a little bit unlucky with the running order in the grand final, but a moment I remember was this is actually from the semi-final, I think, where the spark of the microphone is suspended in midair. The spark was going off, and she was clearly a little bit worried about it hitting her, because she kept looking back at it like, is that thing malfunctioning? So that was obviously very memorable. That actually happened in the semi-final, but I think everyone had their eyes on this part during the final going, oh, have they fixed that spark yet? Is she a bit more comfortable with that spark back there? But what a trooper. Like, she carried on despite being like potentially life in danger. So for me, that just gave her more points, and I actually think that made the performance even greater, because she's up there and the spark's going off, and she's sort of looking behind her, putting her life in danger for the value of entertainment and trying to win the competition. You can't argue with that. So that was a brilliant moment too from Erika Vikman. She had many memorable moments throughout the whole show. So yeah, well done, Erika. The fourth moment that I thought was quite memorable from the staging point of view was the Spanish dress reveal. This was fantastic, because Melody started this song very slowly by herself without much, I think she was just sort of a silhouette with the hat, and there wasn't much sort of background help. It was just her on her own controlling things, and then we sort of zoomed out and saw this dress she was wearing. You're like, wow, that's a very, very extravagant dress. And then as the music took a turn to the next sort of section, the pre-chorus section, all this dress flipped over and caught you by surprise, and was like, wow, there's dancers there. It wasn't actually a dress, it was just a bunch of dancers. And then next thing you know, she's doing a costume change and a costume reveal. She's changed costume as well, so. And that was actually a moment in the grand final. I think she might have been off by the timing. She came out through the curtain. I reckon she was off by about a second on the timing, so something must have happened in the background, but I feel like she didn't come out as the chorus started as they might have planned. I feel like she was just a split second late out the curtain, because the camera was kind of dangling on the curtain as the chorus started, but she still wasn't there, even though we could hear her singing. So I'd be interested to get some take from the Spanish people on that, whether that was a slight delay with her coming out due to some sort of difficulty with this dress. But that was a great reveal, this dress coming out like that. So well done, Spain there. The fifth moment I found very interesting, which is a pretty popular one, was the Tommy Cash fan dance. So bringing the fan on stage, it looked like it was going to be kind of tacky and chaotic and cringy at first, but as soon as the dance started, you're like, oh yeah, okay, that was the payoff, and yeah, that was totally worth it. But I remember initially seeing this in the semi-final thinking, oh, this is a bit, what are they doing here? Like, we clearly know it's staged, and but the fact that they started dancing, that was the punchline, and that really paid off well. And they were in time, and they danced beautifully, and they timed it well. She jumped on him. That was a fantastic moment there as well. So well done to Estonia there. And the security guards, I think they played a great role in this too. The next moment, I think it was number 6 we're up to, was the Latvians. So the monkey tail, I'm going to call it the monkey tail or the creature tail reveal. Avatar creature, I don't know what to call it. Just the mysterious creature lurking in the fairy forest. When those tails flashed up, that was so cool. That was like a moment for Eurovision where you're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to remember that. And that stuck with me right to the end. Every time I thought of Latvia, I thought of that moment. They had a beautiful artistic performance. It was very unique from everything else. But this little moment here, I almost wonder whether they could have played on that a bit more, because I found that so impactful. But again, maybe it was impactful because they built up to it so well, and then they just sort of flashed at it like a little, wow, these people aren't actually human. They're some sort of other creature. And yeah, that was really well done. I just wonder towards the end of the song whether they should have come back to that maybe, but maybe just having that little hint of, you know, creature within was nice, rather than sort of shoving it down our throat, I guess. So that was really nice. Number 7 I've got was Luxembourg. So they really elevated their stage performance here, and that was right from the start. So Laura Thorne, their performer, who did a magnificent job playing the doll for this song. Look, my initial thought was this song wasn't going to do so well, but then I saw the staging in the semi-final, and I thought, wow, this is actually going to do quite well. This is potentially top 10 based on staging, and despite well how polished her performance was, playing the doll with the blinking eyes, they really bought into this idea of the of elevating the stage work for this from the previous, the entry we saw before Eurovision, which was a little bit more pared back. But yeah, they really committed to this doll thing, and they just raised it up another level. And they had this start, which was very confusing. They had a graphic on screen that zoomed in, and then she was sort of standing there. I don't know, it looked a bit weird. There was definitely something weird about it, but mentally I couldn't wrap my head around what was happening. And then she sort of turned on the chair, and I'm like, okay, is she hanging on strings from the ceiling? But then it gets revealed that she's actually lying on the floor, and this is just the tiled floor LCD. So that was a very well done piece of trickery there by the Luxembourg people, which had very high impact. And we also had the black and white TV in the background showing the original storyline of this song. Well done, Luxembourg there. Number 8. Now, this was right at the start of the German entry here with Bola. I think they did this very well, the way he was at the front with the cello that was lit up. And just he started playing, so you got the cello on its own to begin with. And then you had this little pop of the la 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 la, the chorus, the very catchy chorus that everybody knows. And the light flashed on her at the background. I thought that was a moment that was really impactful, and that really set us up for this song, which they gave it a really gritty kind of Berlin nightclub feel when she went down in under dancing with the people, and it's very dark at night, and yeah, this was really grungy and cool. So, but yeah, I thought it started very well with this. Again, a very, very, very simple thing to do, just a flashing light, compared to Luxembourg, which was a lot more complex to pull off. This was a very basic but well done and well executed moment by Germany. The next one I thought was just Parg. Now, Parg on the treadmill, I don't know if that was the highlight or just the whole Parg performance, because he really sold this as the underdog that he is, and that Armenia is in this competition. Like, every time he performed it, every time I saw him, he just got better and better, and he just gave more and more passion. He's the type of guy you'd want on your team, because he just looks like he's going to give 100% no matter what. No matter the odds, he's going to give you everything, and that's what he did. And this treadmill moment really summed that up. The way he's running on the treadmill, like, yeah, I'm being pushed backwards here, but I am going to keep charging forwards because I'm Parg, and I don't stop. I keep giving and giving and giving. So he really had a moment here on this treadmill. But I wouldn't say it was just the treadmill. I'd say it was the whole performance. He really gave it all and gave a lot of heart. So he was one of the real standout performers, I think, for from where people thought Armenia might have finished to where they got to in the end. So well done, Parg. I really like Parg as the performer too. I hope we see more of him. And then the last one, okay, so this one's a little bit maybe it's a bit of a guilty pleasure, I don't know, but the statue of David in the back of the San Marino song, chewing the gum, yeah, it's tacky and cheesy, but I gotta admit, I thought it was hilarious and creepy, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was like, just something about the look on his face, it was just, yeah, I don't know. It was a moment Eurovision kind of needed, but it was definitely a memorable thing having this big statue there alive in the background, and yeah, it was quite scary. It added a bit of a scary kind of tone to the video as well. And then obviously the bubble gum blew up, but just the chewing on the gum, it was a good, nice little idea. I mean, this song was never probably going to be in the winning basket, so I'm glad they did something that was memorable, because this, to be honest, for this song was the memorable moment. I don't think much else really popped with this song that we didn't already know about, apart from the catchy tune. I think in my original reaction, I was hoping they'd bring the nonnas out with the sauce and really maybe sell that, but yeah, the David thing was great too. It was just, yeah, creepy and unsettling, but anyway, so they were the things I really sort of popped to me when the show finished that I thought about. So yeah, I'm sure on rewatch I'll find a few more things, but yeah, for now that's where I'll leave it, and I'll come at you with some more things after I've seen a little bit more on the replays. Thanks, guys.